afternoon. Right now, it's time to go to our interview that we've got here on Mix 104.1. We're going to talk with our friends from New Hope Pregnancy Care Center, and we're also going to talk to a friend that we normally see in the morning hours. Wendy Hughes is back here with us with Hughes & Associates. We'll tell her about her involvement in just a minute, but we'll welcome in Tracie Shellhouse, the CEO of New Hope Pregnancy Care Center. Tracie, how you doing this afternoon?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing, Dwayne?
I'm doing good. And Wendy, how are you doing this afternoon?
Very well, thank you.
Well, it's good to see you again.
You too.
I was picking on you in the lobby. I felt like I hadn't seen you in hours. And it's just kind of been that. So that's good stuff. Well, Tracie, let's go ahead and dive right in here. I know that we've got several things we want to talk about, so a busy segment. I know that the Spring Banquet had happened just a few short weeks ago. So tell us about it.
Well, I had the opportunity at this year's banquet to sort of cast the vision for what our strategic plan is now. And I've been hinting around at it. Dwayne, you've heard me talk about it a little bit. But this was the first time we really got into what are we doing now.
Right.
And our strategic plan, we are calling it One Solid Community. And our intent is that everyone matters. Everyone counts. And, we've seen a lot of division in the last couple of years in our nation, even in our community. And the thing is, though, is the one thing that unites all of us is that we're created in the image of God. And it is my belief that if we focus on what makes us alike rather than different, we can change our community.
Like it.
And so with that, our intent at New Hope and what we truly believe is we are one solid community. And what hurts one hurts us all. And when one rejoices, we all get to share in that joy. And we are wanting to change the mindset of an us versus them mentality. It's very easy, even in the nonprofit world or as we're helping our neighbors, a lot of times we go, well, we need to help them. They are us. They're our community. And so we're wanting to truly build an environment and a culture to where there isn't an us versus them. It's not us versus our clients or even we are serving our community and that we are part of that community. They are part of that community. Wendy and Rick and Hughes and Associates, they are part of our community. You guys are part of our community. You give us an opportunity to come in here and tell people about what God is doing and about the needs in this community, and it affects all of us. And so I believe that it really connected well with our audience because we had our most successful fundraiser in New Hope's history.
Wow.
Ever.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Thank you. And it's still coming in, and we're not finished with the event. We're going to do something a little bit different this year, too. So, COVID has changed things up, and nothing is the same. But I have truly learned that the Lord is working good out of even difficult circumstances. And I can say what COVID has caused us to do in some of our changes and the way that we minister to those around us and the way we just operate, it has upped the game, but we have stepped up, and we are seeing some amazing results. Again,
we're speaking with our friends from New Hope Pregnancy Care Center. Tracie Shellhouse is the CEO. Joining her this afternoon is Wendy Hughes with Hughes & Associates. We're going to find out her involvement here in just a couple of seconds. And you were just talking about it there, Tracie. This year's Spring Banquet was a huge success.
It was.
And again, kudos to everybody that was involved with that. So I guess that may be a good segue to bring in Wendy here. Wendy, how are you again?
I'm doing good. Actually, we've been involved with New Hope, and as she said, we're kind of increasingly becoming more involved. But during COVID, the thing that affected us was we really sat down and took some time to say, okay, you hear people complain about the shots. You hear people complain about the government, about this and that, and you're sitting there thinking, okay, are we going to complain or are we going to do something? And so we sat down and decided, where are we going to put our dollars going forward in the future? Instead of complaining, we're going to put them to work. And so New Hope was our first thing that we thought of because we appreciate what they do there. We appreciate what they stand for, what they fight for. We 100% are on the same page with them and trust them to do the best with when we do donate or we do participate with them. And so we wanted our dollars to go. We chose 3 different things, and all of them have to do with saving lives. And so the first thing is to save the life so it can get here.
Exactly.
So that's where we have to start. And some of the stats that she shared at the banquet were phenomenal, and you'll get to hear those if you watch the replay.
Yes.
She had a lot of statistics that help you see where they've come from and what we've done so far, and how many kids have been saved, how many lives have been saved for the Lord. And it's not that just they're there for one thing.
Yes.
And so we stand behind what they do and what they are trying to do in this community. And like she said, that is our community. We are part of that community. So that's how we wanted to be a part of it.
You know, usually we will ask, someone like yourself, why do you want to be a part of this? Well, you just explained all of that in its entirety. And really, I mean, you kind of brought it to the forefront there. They're not just about one thing.
No.
They're about the complete, I guess you would say, from before birth, then after birth, and then going through, and also the Christian walk of life. So it's really a complete package when you think about what they do there at New Hope. So let's come back over to Tracie, and again, let's kind of go back a little bit and talk about the Spring Banquet, and then also we alluded to a replay.
Yes.
So let's kind of dive into there and see what we got to talk about.
Well, our Spring Banquet this year was amazingly successful, and it started out even before we found out how the community was going to support us. We were able to have more tables than we ever have before. We had to change some things around at our venue, and but that allowed us to have more tables at the venue. But we did something a little different this year too. We had virtual banquets in a box, and so we had people at home who had come by and picked up their box. They had decorated, and we have some pictures that came through on Facebook from some of our supporters at home, and they had the pictures of our New Hope babies, and we provided all the beautiful tableware. And then the day of the banquet, they went to Cafe Roma and picked up a catered dinner for 8 that was absolutely amazing. And so that actually allowed us to expand our reach. So not only did we have more tables and more participants, but we were in more places. We were in churches. The church at Grace Point, Jerry and Vicki Chandler had a table there. And so we had people all over this community. Cool. And I think that's really great because, that exemplifies one solid community. Mm-hmm. It's everyone coming together. So we had more people involved. But I do believe that the Lord moved a lot of hearts this year, and people stepped up alongside us. And so to put it into perspective, a decade ago, our big goal for an event like this was $55,000. And we were struggling to meet that, and sometimes we didn't. As of today, once all pledges and promises are fulfilled, before we do the banquet replay, which we hope is going to bring in more money, $111,000
oh my goodness gracious.
has been raised.
Wow.
It is humbling. It is exciting. It is overwhelming. But what I love about this is you can do this in other communities, but to see an event double in a relatively short period of time, that tells you the heart of this community.
Absolutely.
This community is a giving community. People understand the importance of being intentional and being involved in protecting the lives around us. And it is amazing. So then the banquet replay, what we're going to do is we recorded live our event that evening, and it was an amazing event. I did something a little different this year. I talked a bit longer than I normally do, but it's because there was a lot of good things to say.
There was.
It was amazing. And some of the things I shared were the lives that have been touched, and those in the womb and eternally. We are having an amazing year, and actually right after the event had wrapped up, we had another person choose to place their trust in Jesus. And this year, just through our ministry, we've already had 9 people choose to trust in the Lord.
Isn't that great?
That is amazing.
Yeah.
But then we've also had parents choose life for their babies. And so the replay, what we're going to do is we're going to show that portion and explain what one solid community is and what this community is going to look like when we all come together and we start moving forward. I think it's very, very important, and what I invited people to do is to become part of our one solid community so that we have the ability to make our footprint bigger, our impact larger, and really get to all of those in our community that need help, that need to know about the truth of life, and they need resources. And if we do that and we become the very first choice in Bradley County and the surrounding area For those that are experiencing unplanned pregnancy, the second choice, that of abortion, it'll be eliminated. Because we see that again and again as people come through New Hope, once they realize they're not by themselves, once they realize they have a community to step up alongside them, they suddenly realize, I'm not alone. I can make this decision. And one of the things that I think is so powerful, and I have seen it touch the hearts of clients, is we have those come through and they go, well, how much is this going to cost? Because that day they're getting a pregnancy test. They may have an ultrasound done. They're going to get a year's supply of prenatal vitamins. They're going to get gifts. They're going to have that opportunity to sit down with a registered nurse and receive healthy pregnancy coaching and counseling, all these things. And they're overwhelmed and they're going, but how much is this going to cost me?
Right.
And when we tell them nothing, we have had women just start weeping because they were overwhelmed because they were so worried about that expense on the back end. And I get to tell them, you need to understand that there are those in this community without ever having laid eyes on you that already love you so much. They want to empower you to make this choice for life. They want you to choose a great life for yourself and make the best choices. That before you came in here, they had already made sure that our doors were going to be open. And so for those that are experiencing shame, those that maybe feel like they're going to be ostracized, I get to tell them, you do not understand. There is a community of people here that love you, that support you, and they are cheering you on. And if they want to meet them, I'll come. I'll introduce them to Wendy.
Right.
We've got many others. But, when people are sitting there and they're feeling like, people are going to judge me, there's a community here that I'm looking at where we're at right now, and we're not done with the fiscal year yet. We're about to be. But for the size of our county, more than $4 per person that lives in this county has been given to New Hope this year.
Wow.
That is a lot of money per person, and understand it is a much smaller group of people that's giving that kind of money. How phenomenal is that? But for those that feel outside, they feel like they're by themselves, we get to live one solid community.
Amen. What great news we're hearing today about New Hope and their spring banquet that just finished up. We're kind of recapping that and giving you the great news, really kind of a testimony as well, what the Lord is doing in our community. And that's why when people come and say, I want to be part of Cleveland and Bradley County, this is why. This is one of the reasons why. We're all sitting here. We're all getting emotional. I know Wendy is. I am. Tracie is as well. And that's what it's all about. That's why this community is what it is.
Yes,
because we care so much about others. And that's why, it's kind of a gem. And people just don't realize it until they come and experience it. Then they don't want to leave, which is good and bad. but good stuff here. And you mentioned the replay, and tell us about how people can be a part of that. We talked about it.
Okay.
How can they be a part of it?
You can follow us on Facebook, and we will be putting the links up there so that you can get to it, or you can go to our website at newhopepcc.org. It will be next Thursday, so it's going to be June 24th, and I believe we're doing it at 6:30 or 7 o'clock that evening. And so you're able to go and get on and participate in that. And that's what we're asking people to do, is when we begin to run that feed, we want people on there with us, because that is one solid community. We know that we're told where two or more are gathered together in the Lord's name, that He is there in our midst. And all of us have, I think most all of us have experienced, maybe at one point we felt disconnected if we were watching church on Facebook, but not after COVID. We now understand that, that we can be part of the body of Christ, even if we're sitting in our living room or we're in our car watching the banquet replay on our phone.
Right.
And so we are asking people to go to Facebook, like us, follow us. We're going to have information out there about the event. You can also go to our website. And this is a continuation of the banquet. We so far have raised $111,000. I'm going to put a big plea out there on this, and it culminates to another $25,000. And I'm asking 12 people to sponsor a medical service, and those cost about $335 apiece. I'm asking 12 people to cover our utilities for a month. That's about $785. I'm asking 12 people, will you cover our mortgage? Just each month. If people will do that this year, that will free up $25,000, and that $25,000 will go so far in us being able to invest in media, advertising, and especially digital media, to get to those around us, because we know that there are more here that need us that just don't know about us.
Right. Well, we're glad to be a part of that and trying to get that message out on a continuous basis here at WCLE. Tracie Shellhouse, the CEO of New Hope Pregnancy Care Center, has been telling us about the Spring Banquet and other things going on. Of course, thanks so much to Wendy Hughes for coming back in with Hughes and Associates. They were one of the top underwriters this year for the banquet. And Wendy, I'm going to come back over to you. You and Rick and the whole family, I know that you guys are so passionate about things like this. For people listening in that's a business like yourself, what would you say to them about coming aboard, being part of the New Hope family?
Well, it's a good investment, just purely because of what they are doing there. And again, I can't reiterate enough that they are trustworthy. It's, you hear a lot about, we talk even on here on the radio about scams and things like that.
Right.
Your money is going to good things, to eternal things. And there's a lot of things that we throw our money at on a daily basis that doesn't go to anything viable. But when you think of eternity, as a business, I think this is a great investment in our community to keep people like this going and functioning, and not just starving to death functioning, but productive functioning. And
there's a difference.
Yes, there's a big difference.
There's a difference between saying we got the doors open, and then the difference saying we're doing above and beyond what people expected us to do.
Exactly.
And
so
growing. So
you may hear this and you may think, you made over $100,000? Well, that's a lot of money. Well, it takes a lot of money to do things like this, and especially when you're offering your services for free, and then you need to staff people and you need to pay like the utilities and those sorts of things. And I think a lot of people just don't consider all that stuff. So as a business, this is something that we can provide. And honestly, sometimes we need to do it even if it hurts. Because it's important.
Now, come on.
Because
pass the offering plate.
It is important. That's my 2 cents worth.
That's your 2 cents worth. Now, Wendy, I know this has nothing to do with what you guys are doing, but for you guys to continue to be involved in the community, just tell us a bit about Hughes and Associates as well before we go.
Well, as everybody always hears all about us, we're a family-owned business. We deal with retirement and Medicare type things, and I'll kick right back to them. That's all I'll say. Is just that a lot of times we think about New Hope as only being about babies, but it affects grandparents. I mean, becoming a grandparent because your granddaughter chose not to abort a child. So it affects all ages. So you can send your grandparents to us for the Medicare and retirement stuff, and then and we'll keep helping you.
Good stuff.
Beth organizations are about abundant living.
That's
that
right.
Really is. What you're doing is making sure that people have their best abundant life in their senior years.
Right.
And what we're doing is we're ensuring that there are going to be people in their senior years to go to Hughes and Associates.
To get there, yeah. So it kind of goes hand in hand. Well, ladies, thanks so much for coming in. As we close here, Tracie, give us that replay again, the information we need to know.
It is going to be on June 24th. You can go to our Facebook page and get a link and find out about it. You can also go to New Hope Pregnancy Care Center. We hope that people are watching and engaged. I guarantee you, I don't like watching myself. I really don't. I don't like listening to myself. I don't like watching interviews. And this was the one that I actually made myself smile.
There you go.
And I wasn't uncomfortable with watching me. So if I can watch me, surely you can.
You can too. Yeah, good stuff. Well, Tracie, thanks so much for coming in. Wendy, good to see you. A double dip on a Thursday. So we'll see you guys later. Again, be looking for that next Thursday.
Yes.
Go to the New Hope Pregnancy Care Center Facebook page.
Yes.
You can get all the information that you're looking for there. Thanks so much, guys. And again, congratulations.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break. We'll be back here in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
Looking for the dealer who's gonna